it's time for lunch. I've been burning with this point the whole time. And it's just an observation that this conversation has been dominated by how you fit into the academic economy. And one of the things that I would invite the fellows to think about in terms of how you want to do your work with your editor is to give yourself the space to put all that information aside. It's all very important. You want to be a savvy scholar when it comes to publishing your work, but you also need to create the space to where you can learn how to write again. And that is how you move beyond the dissertation. That is how your writing moves beyond being defensive and becomes proactive. And I couldn't help but note that I was really glad that Shireen was the one to bring up the point, and not me, that you need to rewrite and rewrite and rewrite and rewrite and rewrite. And I think Mike too has had a lot of experience writing for audiences outside of academia. So both of those kinds of practices are the things that will help you elevate your own awareness about your own habits and maybe unconscious choices in your writing. They can't be unconscious choices. The defensiveness comes out in the structure. It comes out on the sentence level when you have overburdened sentences with clause, verb. That, those things have become natural to you. They have served you very well. They will not serve you well in the book. They will push readers away. They will not invite readers in. And so you need to be able to let go of those very excellent coping mechanisms that have made you very successful thus far and recognize that they're not going to serve you here. And I think one of the greatest things you can come out with in having this kind of opportunity is having somebody bring attention to things that you do now that you will become aware of yourself. So when you are rewriting for the 15th time, you will be able to be more deliberate about your choices on the page and really construct an invitation rather than a kind of defensive presentation of who you want everybody to see you to be. So.
And Nora, that's also part of the structure of the dissertation.
Exactly.
You're
Exactly.
supposed to say, well, they said it wrong, I'm saying it right.
Exactly.
As opposed to, Shireen, what you were saying, inviting your readers in. It's a radical shift in perspective.
It's a total inversion of your role.
That's why the dissertation is not a book, as you were saying.
Right.
But I think it's what also makes it very problematic at this stage for a lot of people, and that is if you're also thinking about tenure and whether you're going to get into that right track and things like that, that's still the mode of a dissertation and that kind of defensiveness. So you're sort of, there is a kind of whipsaw there.
Yeah.
Is there a structural, if you feel like you need to engage a particular body of scholarship in a rather detailed manner, should that be shifted to the footnotes? Or, is there a structural way of engaging that debate without appearing defensive?
Methods appendix.
Yeah.
Can I also say one thing that I kind of fought for in this book was keeping the footnotes on the page. But this is three different books. There's the text book, which anybody who reads the New Yorker should be able to read and I hope enjoy. There is the footnotes, which are written for my colleagues, and then there's the reading, which does both, and there's a conversation between those two things. If they're endnotes, then even many academic readers are not going to read that stuff, and so there is, refusing to let them be footnotes forces us to do some of this awful stuff that we do in academic books, because we need to make sure that some of that gunk remains in the main text so that people don't think that we're naive or superficial. And so I think there's a real value for having the footnotes there page by page that people can look at or not. I feel quite strongly about that because it frees you to write the main text in a different way.
One of the things one limitation that will create for you, though, is it will limit your ability to change. If there are if there are substantive things that you need to change and improve. Go back to your question though about like sort of engaging, you know, a literature, engaging a debate. It's like, you know, sure you want to be doing that, and a certain amount of that you do need to be doing in your main text. But one thing is like dissertations tend to be like, you know, extraordinarily over documented. You're putting in everything that, you know, basically you're proving to your committee that you've read everything. You're citing things over and over again. And you don't need to be doing that at this point. You know, you're moving from being this, you know, kind of, you know, sort of supplicant asking the committee to, you know, to accept your offering, to, you know, you're being an author, you're being an authority, and you're saying these are the things, these are the sources that are actually important here. These are the sources that are relevant. These are the portions of the debate that you know that I choose to engage with, because they elucidate, you know, what I'm trying to say, what they help define the issue that I'm actually concerned with. You know, this is to some extent, this is your, you know, now this is your book. You know, the dissertation was your committee's book.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, one way to turn it around is to start writing for other audiences and seeing the ways that opens out your modes of address, the language that you use, the way that you can give your elevator talk to different people in different ways. And then, you know, the sort of the internal freedom that comes from the practice of writing to different audiences may actually do the same kind of work as getting a job outside of academia.